the Motorola Razr Plus 2024 edition. I'll be honest with you, when I first picked this phone up, when I first unboxed it, I think I seen this in my unboxing video, my initial one, I said that this phone felt very cheap. And it's not really very cheap when it comes to the front. The actual outside display is absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, perfect. It's the back of the phone being plastic that felt kind of cheap. And then when you open the phone up, it's also just, I don't know, the build quality doesn't feel like the Galaxy Z Flip 6. And ironically enough, this is 100%, in my opinion, a better phone than the Z Flip 6. Which I didn't expect to say that in any way possible. So let's kind of go through this one step at a time. First off, cameras. Beautiful cameras. 50 megapixel on the outside. Pretty much everything you can expect from a typical cell phone in 2024. I said this a million times, I'll say it again when it comes to megapixels. Megapixels do not matter unless you are printing out the picture. Just the fact of the matter is. So for the camera, I will say it's your typical camera. Great sensor, great lens, great options. Software works perfect with it. Not really that big of a deal, right? Number two. Let's talk about the inside display. So the thing about Motorola that changes the ball game is their inside display is 144 hertz. It's a little bit different than the 120 hertz of every other flippable, foldable cell phone pretty much. And at the most part, the standard nowadays. I know Apple is coming out with their brand new iPhone 16 with 60 hertz. Crazy. Nonetheless though, the inside display, if you use a Z Flip 6 and you use a Motorola Razr, they feel different. Now, of course they're going to feel different because they're completely different companies, right? But I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't feel less durable than a Z Flip 6, but it, in a way, feels less premium. It's like the Z Flip 6, when you're touching it, you feel like you're actually touching glass. While when you're touching the Motorola Razr, you kind of feel like you're not touching glass, but you're touching very similar. It's almost to a point where it's like an identical variant of actual glass. Which, again, you know, not as many generations for Motorola as we have seen from, you know, Samsung. So, it is what it is at the end of the day. It's not that big of a deal. It just feels a little bit different. I don't game on my phones, so the 144 hertz, by the way, is absolutely a gimmick. It's not something that I really care about too much. If you game on your phones, you're probably going to care about it. If you don't game, you're not going to, because all media is 60 hertz. Most games in the Play Store are 60 hertz or 120. There is very limited, if zero, actual content for 144 hertz display because most companies simply do not create phones with 144 hertz. So that's that. And again, like I said, 16 gigabytes of RAM, Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor. It's a great phone. It's a great phone, but now we gotta talk about the outside display. Because everything else, in my opinion, right, they're the same, okay? I know I just give my thoughts and opinions on, you know, how they feel, how they don't feel, this, that, third. 144 hertz, 120 hertz. In reality, the big difference is the outside display. That's all that matters in the end. And wow, is it a difference. First off, I prefer the outside display 1000% on the Motorola Razr 2024 edition. 100%. Not even a question on earth. Not only is it a bigger display, it just feels more prominent. It feels more like, I would say useful, but I would get to a point where I would say actually feels more useful on the outside display. Now, sadly, CoverOS does not work on this. It works on Galaxy, the Galaxy Z Flip 6, but it doesn't work on the Motorola Razr. For whatever reason, it doesn't. Now, I know there is Good Lock that does work to a certain degree. If you rotate it, it doesn't work, but for the most part, it does work. And that is nice, so it lets you be able to utilize all your applications on your outside display. It also has that beautiful, typical thing with every flippable cell phone. that gives you the ability to slide over to the left and right and see your weather, see your contacts, or see whatever widget you want to see. It's a very simple, simplistic process, and to be honest, it's very seamless. Let's talk about price. Price tag for these two phones. Obviously, Samsung bumped the price tag up to $1,100. Motorola right now is on discount for right around $900, maybe $850, depending on where you get it from. I'll be honest with you, I prefer Motorola. And it's weird for someone to say that, like myself, who has had pretty much all the Z Flip devices. Z Flip, Z Fold, you guys already know on the channel. I love these devices. But I really actually prefer Motorola. And I don't know if it's because of the fact of the square design of the Z Flip 6 versus the more rounded design of Motorola. And I really do like the rounded design of Motorola. Again, it might be the fact that I have a Z Fold 6, so I'm so used to the squared off, situation that I also have an S24 Ultra squared off situation. And then you got Z Flip 6, which, again, squared off. So maybe Motorola being different also kind of gives me that, mental thing where it's like, oh, wow, this actually does, look really good. And it feels really good in the hand. And it's not like sharp corners. It's all rounded. I don't know. Again, like I said, this is just a personal preference. But if you do use the Motorola Razr 2024 edition, I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I do. And I didn't think it was really going to grow on me. Again, like I said, I've said this many times, the Z Flip 6 is perfect. It is absolutely perfect in every way possible. And I know I kind of bashed the Motorola Razr in this video saying that the screen felt cheap or kind of felt cheaper. But that's really not even a negative. Here's what I'll say about it, right? It feels cheaper, but it still feels premium. It doesn't feel like, okay, I'm going crazy. Every little detail is perfect, like it is on the Z Flip 6 when it comes to build quality, but it doesn't feel bad. It kind of just feels like, okay, it's a flippable cell phone, and it gets the job done in every way possible. Yeah, I don't know. Again, like I said, at the end of the day, you could make arguments why Z Flip is better, why Motorola is better. I'm probably going Motorola, and I was not expecting that going into buying this phone. I really was expecting the opposite and go with Samsung 100% because that's what I'm used to. I'm used to Samsung. I'm used to rocking Samsung. This is my first Motorola Razr phone, so I wasn't expecting much, and I was highly impressed in the end. Tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys next one. Peace out.